as requested, I'm going to do a video on how to remove and replace your coils and your spark plugs. Now, first thing, obviously my engine bay is disgusting. It's dirty as hell. One day I got bored and painted the valve cover, the intake manifold, the brackets, and some black spray paint. It wasn't heat resistant, and it just turned to shit, and I don't really care. Now, and this video is probably going to be all washed out, as this camera tends to do in the daylight. First thing you'll notice is this coil cover is missing. On a stock car, a car that still has the cover on it, it's going to be a 4mm Allen head bolts. Be one right here, one in this center post, and one right here. And I just don't have the coil cover on because, well, ATV right there. I got bored one day at work and put it on my toolbox. Yeah. So, first thing you're going to do is remove all that. Remove the coil cover there. And I also have either 3.5 or DEK front coils on here. I don't really remember which. I don't know where I got them, but whatever. To remove the coils, either a ratchet 8mm socket or 8mm nut driver. Nut drivers, let's see. For most brands of nut drivers, Metric has an opaque base or handle, and standard has a clear. Yellow is always 5/16 or 8mm. Blue 10mm or 3/8. Colors generally standardized. But see, it's an 8mm bolts holding your coils here. Let's go ahead and remove those. And on the stock 3.0 coil packs, there'll be 2 of them. Let's move that. Unplug your harness connector. Pull the coil out. And then you've got your spark plug all the way down there. So for ease of access, I use a 9-inch extension. Damn, it really is washed out. 9-inch extension, 5/8 spark plug socket. You can tell spark plug socket has got a little rubber bushing inside to hold the plug. It's got the flats on the outside, so you can use a wrench if you need to. And of course your 3/8 ratchet. Go ahead. Make sure that's on the spark plug. Go ahead and pull her out. And that's all there is to it for the front bank. Putting her back in, make sure to always check your gaps. I'm not a fan of those 99-cent style, or 99-cent AutoZone disc style or wafer style spark plug gappers, because you damage them the least. And it's no longer accurate. For the wire style, it looks just like the disc style, but it's got small wires shooting from the end to check the gap with. This right here, all those wires serve to check different gaps. So you just go ahead and after you
place the spark plug, stick your coil back in, stick your bolts back in. And these don't fit too well, but and again, you don't want to manhandle them. This one's even too short for this hole, but it stays in place. Yeah, you just don't want to over tighten the hell out of it because you will strip the threads out probably. And that's how you change them on the front bank. And of course, go ahead and put your coil cover back on after you're done. And don't forget to plug it in, otherwise you will have a misfire. You put your coil cover back on, these 4mm Allen head bolts. No one over tighten those either, obviously. Just get them snug. And snug does not mean hanging off of the Allen key. Yep, that's front bank. Now for the rear bank, it's be number 1 right here. And again, I have many of these clips or wire tie downs or whatever because they all break, and I don't really care. Unplug your coil pack. Also, you probably want a magnet for this. That would be a good idea. And take your 8mm or 5/16, they're close enough, and start undoing the rear bolts. There's one at the very front that you can easily see if you just take a look down there. The rear one's kind of hidden. I never take that all the way out. I loosen it up all the way. Here, I start loosening it. I start pulling the coil up while I'm loosening it so it stays on the coil pack. You can see right there. And obviously the rear coils are different from the fronts. They're high enough so you can get to them through the holes in the intake manifold. Then, just like before, just go down in there. Make sure it's on the spark plug. Take it out. If you're just checking them, take a look at it. The scope of that is beyond this video, really. Put them back in. When you torque them down, you use a torque wrench if you're not familiar with the feeling of tightness, really. That sounded kind of wrong. Or get them, if they're new plugs and you have the crush washers on them, get them until they're snug, pretty much. You'll feel the crush washer crushing. And then maybe a quarter turn, if that. Just be gentle. You don't want to strip the threads out in the head, because that would be a bad thing. Now put them back in. What I do is just take the bolt, stick it back in the coil pack, stick this down here. Also, a screwdriver works, but if they're tight and you want the right size or the right tip screwdriver, you will strip the fuckers out. So, just put the bolts back in, tighten them down. Well, really, you don't even need to have bolts in there. Coil packs stay on the plugs pretty well by themselves. I've never had an issue with that. And obviously, you want to plug it back in. Not saying you shouldn't. Not saying you should not use bolts, but yeah. So for this one, so this is just obviously if you drop a bolt, you can get it. You probably will drop a bolt. This one again, you can just push this out of the way, or I believe you can slide it right up. Yeah, you can just slide that right off. Then you'll have access to that, to the coil pack there. Pull that plug out. That's the same exact way as with the other one. You just slide off the throttle cable bracket right here. Just push out on this tab on the side, and it comes right off. Oops, pushed out too far. I don't really care. So, now this one, can't even really see it from that angle, so see right there. That one, it's no problem on my car. Anyway, on later cars where you got some EVAP equipment mounted right here, it can be a pain in the ass. You got to take that off. I think that's two 12mm nuts, as far as I remember. And yeah, remove the spark plug, remove the coils the same exact way. Otherwise, obviously, I'm not going to do all 6. I would if I was changing my plugs, but you know, they're all about the same. Doing it, as you can see. And yeah, that's all you need. 6 9-inch extension, your ratchet, and a 5/8 spark plug socket, and 8mm nut driver, or 5/16, or whatever. You can't even see that. And preferably a magnet too. And of course your spark plug gapper and your torque wrench, preferably, but not. It's not a necessary item. Yep.